Okay, so this video is to talk about the differences in the rear main seals available for a Kaiser 226. That would have been used in Kaisers from 1947 onward, marketed as their supersonic engine, and also in Jeep and Willys applications well into the 60s, marketed as a Super Hurricane 226. So I went through a whole process of trying to replace the rear main seal in it. Originally, I was going to install a, aftermarket replacement rope seal in it. So this is removed from a 1953 Kaiser 226. This is the original rope seal filler block. And here's the original seals I pulled from it. Now I was going to use a Felpro replacement. You can see how much thicker they are. What I ultimately decided, even with grease and oil, I was not able to fit this into either the filler block or its guard with a crankshaft in place. The only way I see feasible to install this seal properly is to lower the crankshaft, so to undo the main bearings, and not something I was excited to do, and then lower the crankshaft slightly to help install that. Or if you're in the process of rebuilding the engine, then you should be able to use this Felpro seal no problem. But in my case, this motivated me to look for, I wanted a more modern neoprene lip seal, something that's more reliable. And you can see I have the part numbers here. So again, original rope seal, the Felpro aftermarket replacement for that rope seal. And then the lip seal I actually have installed in these two filler blocks already, and I'll get to that in a second. What I came up with was a Victor part number of 46287 or a Felpro BS 13349. Now, either of these part numbers are very obsolete and they are hard to come by, so you're going to have to get creative with that. I ended up getting this Victor 46287 off of a fellow Kaiser enthusiast. So, but I had, that Kaiser enthusiast tell me that, or was convinced that I would be able to use this lip seal in the old filler block intended for a rope seal. But I'm kind of creating this video to document that is absolutely not the case. To force that lip seal into the old filler block is extremely crude, and I would never ever do that. But to make my point, so I have them seated as far down into this as I could. Now you can see it sticks up above the surface of this filler block. And sure, you could cut that flush with it, but it won't matter anyway because the idea of it is way off. The crankshaft I measured, the sealing surface for the rear main seal. The crankshaft outer diameter is 2.435 inches. So with that lip seal installed in, this is the proper filler block intended for that lip seal. The ID comes out to be about 2.410 inches, which is just about perfect. But forcing it into that old filler block, the rope seal one, brought it down to 2.290. And that's absolutely unacceptable. You could not use that reliably for that crankshaft. But so bottom line, if you have the original rope seal filler block, you have to use a rope seal with it. And if you're fortunate enough to be able to find a lip seal filler block, then you can use the more modern seal. But you can see, again, I'm going to show, obviously, it sticks up quite a bit. It forces the seal to be the wrong inner diameter. And, it fits so poorly. It's, this filler cap was never intended for that. Now on this one, and I'll get to finding one of these in a bit. This filler guard also very difficult to find. But you can see there how that sits in it. It's obviously designed for that lip seal. It's the perfect size for it. Now, this one, it looks to be aftermarket. I found this from yet another Kaiser enthusiast who had it laying on his shelf. You might try a few Kaiser and Willys part sources to try to score one of these. These range in price from about you know, $100 is a reasonable deal, but I've seen them go for as much as $200 if you can find them. But this has to be, I believe this is aftermarket, because the machining of this is not nearly as good as this original Kaiser part. It's also quite a bit lighter as well. But that being said, I'm grateful to have this and that seal. Both items are very hard to find. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And also to make my point, so if you're trying to, maybe you're at some kind of market, or you're trying to find parts for your engine, to identify these two in the field, this one's roughly, you know, with these two halves pressed together, about 2.5 inches ID. This one is just shy of 2 5/8. It's 2.6 inches, almost exactly. And I had that written down here. So the newer, more modern filler block is about 2.6 inches ID. The older rope seal one is about 2.5. Now, the groove that the seal actually sits in, so right about here, the base of that groove, I calculated the diameter of that. And that works out to be, in the old one, it's about 3.190 inches. And in the newer filler block, it works out to be about 2.985. So that's a difference of, that is 0.205 inches larger than that one. Now, as far as machining it, possibly to accept the more modern lip seal, that might be feasible. That's going to be up to, if you're a machinist. I mean, I would imagine it'd be very tricky to do. And actually, I don't think the casting really has enough meat to accommodate that, but I could be wrong. But possibly, if you're, you know, a pretty clever machinist, or you know one, you might be able to possibly make the old filler block, work with a new, more modern lip seal. But for me, the most frustrating part is the availability of parts. Trying to find these these part numbers for the more modern lip seal, very difficult to find. And even just finding the filler block for it. But hopefully, maybe that'll change with time, and maybe an enthusiast will step up and create either one of those items. But yeah, I hope that helps you out with trying to sort through the Kaiser 226 rear main seal thing. But yeah, that being the case, that is what's going into the engine, and I'm pretty excited about that. So hopefully that'll equate to reliability and no more oil leaks at the rear main seal. But yeah, that's it, and thanks for watching.